I tell you, it would be bad if you bought an instrumental washboard because you couldn't find a normal washboard.
Oh, mate, I'm trying to use that.
And you use that, so that would be criminal, wouldn't it?
It'd be awful, mate. You don't get anything dry. They originally called the Blackjacks. The group then changed their names to Quarrymen, which is named after a line in their school's song. They also went to Quarrybank High School, which inspired the name. So Smith, he would leave the band. Nigel Worley and Ivan Vaughan also joined and left the band through 1956-57. Len Gary and drummer Colin Hanton, and Rod Davis joined the group, creating their first stable lineup of the Quarrymen. And it was on the 6th of July 1957 when the Quarrymen performed at St. Peter's Walton Parish Church. It was at this show where John Lennon met the famous Nirvana guitar player Paul McCartney. I'm never going to let people forget that, because remember when those posters came out, it didn't say, "Oh, this is going to be like Nirvana, featuring Paul McCartney." They said Nirvana reunion, and so Paul McCartney is a member of Nirvana. So yeah, James Paul McCartney was born on the 18th of June 1942 in Liverpool to midwife Mary Patricia and jazz musician James McCartney. So that would make him Junior, actually. So he went to Stockton Wood Primary School, where he made friends with George Harrison. His father encouraged him to take up music, which he loved. And among the instruments he played when he grew up was the guitar and the trumpet. On the 6th of July 1957, he auditioned for the band, the Quarrymen, after their afternoon show. He met up with John Lennon and the rest of the band, and he played 20 Flight Rock by Eddie Cochran.
Ooh, I got a girl with a record machine. When it comes to rocking, she's a queen. Go to a dance on a Saturday night, all alone where I can hold her tight. She lives on the 20th floor uptown. The elevator's broken down. And
he didn't stay for their late show. After the show, Lennon and Shotton talked about McCartney joining the band. Shotton invited him to join the band 2 weeks later. Paul said he would join them after the summer, where he would go to scout camp, and he had to go on a holiday with his family in Butlins. So
where was the Butlins?
In Wales, I believe it was. But
I bet it was a nice holiday.
But I mean, like you potentially you're delaying the start of the Beatles to go to Butlins.
Yeah,
I put that on the poster. You're madness. So he returned from holiday, and Shotton and Davis, they had left the Quarrymen, feeling they were moving away from skiffle and more towards rock. Paul joined the band, and he actually taught John how to play those banjo chords actually on the guitar.
I tell you what, imagine being a musician and making the decision to back skiffle rather than rock in the late 1950s. You're a little delay. No, like it's one thing kind of leaving the Quarrymen, which was obviously went on to be the Beatles, but. And let's be honest, even if these individuals stayed in the Quarrymen, they might not have become the success they did go on to become.
No.
But imagine deciding I'm going to back skiffle over rock.
That is madness. Hipsters of music. So, something that would bond John and Paul together was one shared experience was, of course, early deaths of their parents, as Paul's mother had actually died of cancer a year earlier on the 31st of October 1956. So Paul McCartney, he performs for the first time with the Quarrymen. They soon started to write songs together, and now again they're a rock band, so they need a lead guitarist. And so it was on the 6th of February 1958 that Paul McCartney introduced George Harrison to John Lennon. George Harrison was born 25th of February 1942 to Harold and Louise Harrison. He was one of 3 children with sister Louise and brother Peter. He left school without many qualifications, considered to be an apprentice engineer. In 1959, he formed a skiffle group called the Rebels with his brother Pete and school friend and a friend Arthur Kelly. And he joined another other groups before he joined the Quarrymen. So in March, George auditioned with the band, playing Guitar Boogie Shuffle. Lennon thought that he was a bit too young, as he was only 14 at the time. and said, mate, you can't join the band. So then, on top of a double-decker bus, it was then that George auditioned again for John, and he played him Raunchy by Bill Justice. And that's what got him into the band. Another one of Paul's friends, John Duff-Lowe, also joined the band playing piano. Now, the Quarrymen had 4 guitarists. So Lennon and McCartney suggested to Griffiths that he instead buy a bass guitar. Griffiths refused because of the expense. So they actually convinced their manager and bandmate Nigel Worley to fire Griffiths. After this happened, Worley, he regretted the incident and he quit the band. And around this time, Len Gary, another band member, contracted tubercular meningitis and spent 7 months in hospital and never played with the group again.
Well, that's a really sad.
It is quite sad.
I mean, all of that. I mean,
yeah.
The fact of the matter is Lennon and McCartney said to Griffiths, "You buy a bass guitar." He couldn't afford it, and so they went behind his back, went to the other bandmate, and said, "You need to fire him." It's quite two-faced.
There's a series of very shady and two-faced things we're going to find out in this episode.
Yeah, I mean, why couldn't they all chip in and get him the bass guitar?
I know. Or just all chip in and nick one. Yeah,
that's true. That's
exactly,
true.
Yeah.
And then this other guy felt so bad that he quit. And on top of that,
he didn't quit. He got fired actually, because they went behind his back to say to the manager, No,
the other guy though.
The meningitis. Oh, sorry. Why? Sorry, Wiley. Yeah.
He felt bad and quit. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
As I say, musical geniuses, like some of the greatest minds of their generation. Not the nicest of people, the Beatles, I wouldn't say. They're very complicated people.
Well, I suppose you need to be if you're that. The way their minds work and the music they produce, they have to be complicated people.
Not everyone can be Justin Timberlake, who's just like all round goodness.
All round a decent fella.
Decent geezer.
Why? And this leads us on to the real subject of this podcast. Why is a geezer Justin Timberlake?
Why is he a geezer?
Why is he a geezer?
Mate, that would be I couldn't cover it. I have to do a series on that. That would just be Mate, you couldn't do that through audio. You need pictures for that.
You need graphic images.
You need graphic images for that, mate. So the group now consisted of Colin Hanton, Lennon, McCartney, and Harrison. And in March, McCartney bought an Elliptico amplifier with 2 inputs, and he and Harrison added pickups to their guitars, giving the Quarrymen now more an electric sound. Now, in 1958, they actually recorded their first 2 demos in Philips' sound recording studio. Those 2 demos, which was a sort of home studio that was... it's Philips Sound Recording Services, which is a home studio in Liverpool. They recorded a cover of That'll Be the Day, a Buddy Holly song. A Buddy Holly song, and in Spite of All the Danger, a song that was written by Lennon and Harrison. No, sorry, it was written by McCartney and Harrison, attributed to. And this is the first recording of Lennon, McCartney and Harrison, of course joined by Colin Hayton and Duff-Lowe, of course, who's also playing piano. So after the recording session, Hanton had a fight with the rest of the group and he quit. Lowe too lost contact with the group after leaving the Liverpool Institute. and that just left their 3 guitarists consisting of